welcome back to this edition of the Moss HR Minute. I'm Nicole Moss. I'm the co-founder of Moss Consulting HR Services, where we help business owners manage the people part of their businesses so that they can focus on what they got into business to do. Today, I'm sitting down with someone that I'm so excited to introduce you to, and we're going to talk about all things employee benefits. I'm here with Ford Clemons. He's the managing director of the employee benefits division at Higginbotham right here in Dallas. Ford, thank you so much for being here. Give us a quick rundown about like what you are, what you do, and who you are.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to be here.
Super fun.
But sure, what I do is I've been at Higginbotham for 10 years, working all in employee benefits. And on a day-to-day basis, we're working with really mid-market employers all across the U.S. and helping them build and sustain a competitive benefits package.
I love it. I love it. And Ford and I have had the opportunity to work on several clients now together. And it's really fun to work with a broker who like you, I think that you're one of the few that really care about like your clients and the outcome for their employees. And you also have like a deep understanding of the benefits world. And that's probably because of what you studied in school. Give us some of your background of like your studies and how you got here.
Sure. Totally. Well, I graduated from the University of Alabama in 2015.
Alabama.
Absolutely. Roll Tide.
Okay.
With a business degree and a focus in healthcare.
Okay.
So my main goal in college is like, I want to go to medical school. And got to my senior year and I'm like, I don't want to go to 8 more years of college.
Okay.
So pivoted and was like, I love healthcare. I love the aspect of helping people, and found some relationships at Higginbotham and realized that, hey, I can still really help people and stay in healthcare, and got into the employee benefits space back in 2016.
Love it.
So yeah, that's how I got
it.
here.
Oh, so you've been at Higginbotham your whole career.
Yep. The whole
Very
career.
cool.
Yep.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah, I think understanding the healthcare world like you do is really what gives you that kind of advantage, because you have like, it seems like you have like a deeper knowledge than most brokers.
Yeah, it's the game has changed like tenfold since I started in 16, and if you go back even pre when I started, it's probably changed tenfold again.
For sure.
So it's been a lot to stay on top of. The industry's changing, it's evolving, which makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And makes you stay on top of your game.
Yeah, you're moving fast these days.
Totally.
All right. So what is going to happen, Ford? We call this the Moss HR Minute. I'm going to ask you 5 hard-hitting questions.
Love it.
You have 1 minute to answer, and then we'll discuss it.
All right.
Nothing bad happens if you go over a minute. But,
Perfect.
I mean, we think. We'll see what happens next.
Awesome.
All right. Your first question is, out of everything you could have focused on in insurance, what drew you specifically to employee benefit?
Really the aspect of helping people. I really wanted to go to medical school for that reason of, hey, I really wanted to make a difference and help people's lives. And in that, we found that in health insurance as well. Really, when we're using health insurance, typically it means we're going through a medical event.
Yeah.
Insurance is not an easy thing to go through from a facility or just using the insurance perspective. So really helping the individual. On the second part of that is the employers. It's a major expense on a balance sheet.
Big time.
Helping people sustain, recruit, and retain their employee base with their benefits. And that's one of my calling. I feel like my calling is to the health insurance industry.
Yeah. No, working with you, we work with other brokers, of course, right? And you make relationships as you build your career, but you have such an interesting and like genuine care for like the individuals. And Marley, who's kind of like, Marley's amazing.
So
what is Marley's title now?
She's a senior account manager.
Okay. She's amazing. Everyone on the Moss team knows and loves. I mean, they know and love you too, but Marley gets stuff done. She's on top of it. And I think that the two of you, and I know your team specifically is growing, but we've had the opportunity to work mostly with Marley, and like y'all both genuinely care about the end user. And I think that is a really big difference in a lot of brokers. And I don't know if it's like Higginbotham specifically, but people at Higginbotham hires very, very well. But to care not only about, you have to care about the business owner because it's a huge expense, but to care about like the individual employee and the lengths that you guys go through to help people is just, it's rare.
So, oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. It makes our jobs easier.
I would say, Hig, we're in the people business.
Yep.
We're our revenue isn't, it goes up and down the elevator every day is what our CEO always says. But with that too, we understand that, listen, we're all consumers of health insurance.
Yeah.
I have 2 kids of my own, so I've been a very active user of our own medical plan.
Yeah.
And me being in the industry, like it's still challenging working through it just on a personal level. So we realize that and understand that when an employee goes through who doesn't do this every day, that like, hey, these are big bills coming in the mail. This is a complex industry to navigate, and having that mindset is key.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, we have a joint client, and I think he's a friend for sure to both of us, and probably a
Sure.
bit of a mentor to both of us,
Yeah,
Chess Williams.
absolutely.
And he's like, he's told us, I think for years together too in the same room, he's like, if y'all can figure out insurance, you'll be billionaires. Like, to make it easy. It's like, Jess, it's so hard. Would love to figure it out. But his thing is the employer is the conduit between an individual and their health care.
Mm-hmm.
And that's hard. Like there's a lot of responsibility with that. And I know that working with you, in my experience, you've made that kind of connection a lot easier. So we thank you for your help there.
Well, appreciate the kind words.
Of course. Okay. So, along with benefits comes a slew of compliance items. Hig has the compliance dashboard, which I use all the time. Like, it's very helpful in the emails that you guys send. But in your experience, like, what's a compliance mistake that you've seen business owners make, very likely unknowingly, right? I mean, it's very complex, that cost them more than they realized.
Oh gosh. I mean, like, this is the thing that has changed the most in the 10 years is compliance.
Yep.
You wind the clock back to the Obama administration when the ACA was rolled out, and that's really when this compliance thing started. So you roll the clock forward to today, and you had in the last 2 weeks, now we're at the end of July at time of filming, the ACA just released, or the IRS just released, the new affordability percentage. It's 10% and change for 2026. Most expensive it's ever been.
Yeah.
The PCORI fee is due in a few days. So more and more fall on the employer. And I'd say the biggest mistake employers make is just not knowing. It's not that, I would say very rarely are employers doing it knowingly.
Of course.
But it's really just, you just don't know what you don't know.
Yep.
So if it's having an HR team that really helps with compliance, if it's having a broker, if it's having just resources and staying on top of it, because every 4 years or 8 years when the administration changes is generally when you're going to see more compliance complexities added on the employer's plate.
Yeah, absolutely. So you work closely with HR leaders and like C-suite executives. What's the biggest misconception business owners might have about what their benefit program actually costs them?
Sure. I think a cost that is, you can't really put a number on, is population health management. And it's really and what I mean by that is just the health of your population. If you have a good program in place, if your people aren't working, then
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. You're paying them. If they're sick, then that means they're not generating revenue for you. You're somebody else is having to do their job.
Right.
So if we can have a good population health management program in place, if we can get people back to work quicker, if we can keep people at work, then that helps the business. It's really hard to put a number on what that means.
Yeah.
But not to mention just the number, but also just the culture you create.
Yes.
At Higginbotham, we have a point system where if I go do community events, if I do certain things of my health, then I get points and can get discounts and get rewards on my health insurance. And it's created this environment of, a healthy culture environment that we have.
Yeah. And that's huge, right? And to your point, like people in general need to work, right?
Yeah.
Like if you get sick and you need to take time off from work because of, like, COVID was a big example of this, is people were not working, and we felt that, right? We're still feeling the ripple effects of that. I think it's so important. Like Humana, I think, was one of the ones that really like started paving the way for this like wellness culture. Do you remember Humana Vitality?
Yeah. Humana was when they were still in the market.
Yeah.
But they exited.
Years They've
ago.
Since made other plans.
They were front runner.
But I worked for a company. It was actually how I kind of like cut my teeth in HR. So this is a long time ago, but it was so cool. We brought on Humana Vitality, and it was like everyone had points, and you would go through like, it was like blue, silver, gold, platinum, and each level got you a different discount on your, like, on the premium that you would pay. You could get like all like gym memberships and bikes and all these things. And having people be healthy at work is one, good for them personally, because they're not taking time off of work, and two, like, great for the business, because like you said, they're not, the person's out, other people are having to do their jobs, the whole thing. It's kind of a ripple effect overall, which is great. What are some ideas or like strategies that you've put into place? If like, actually, let's talk about this. Like when you say someone's running really hot, like when we're talking about like like the utilization is very high. Can you talk a little bit about like those percentages and what strategies we can talk about to like bring health, like the
Yeah.
health culture into the businesses?
So sure. I mean, high cost claimants, if it's cancers or prescriptions are our two biggest. Musculoskeletal, many still high, but we're seeing cancer really supersede the musculoskeletal claims in terms of just overall cost. So a lot of it is, once you have a high cost claimant, it's really hard to tie that back down. They're either going to get better or they're not going to get better.
Right.
So the when we go back to population health management is how are we managing our chronic conditions to prevent them from becoming a high cost claimant? Like let's take diabetes for example.
Hmm.
Um, Providing our employees resources to help control and sustain their condition. If it is diabetes, to prevent them from having a heart attack, becoming a high cost claimant is a main factor. If it's an employee getting a preventative exam and catching a stage 1 cancer versus a stage 4 cancer, a
Yeah.
massive cost savings, not to mention just the likelihood of survival
Right.
is much greater at stage 1 versus stage 4. So in my eyes, it really starts at that preventative, kind of that base model. If you are running hot and you have a lot of high cost claims, like it's really hard to flip that script for that specific, really small population.
Yeah.
But looking at the broader population, it's focusing on that the whole health of the entire workforce.
Love it. Love it. So you volunteered at Genesis Women's Shelter for almost a decade
Yep.
now. And you support the Touchdown Club of Dallas and the Ashford Rise School. What kept you committed to that work, to that volunteer work for so long?
Sure. At Hig, we've really ingrained it in our core values of being generous to our community. So
Mhm.
from the Genesis Women's Shelter has been, gosh, since I've been in Hig, Dallas, it's been a part of our office of doing an annual Christmas thing. It's about back to school time right now, so we're doing a book bag builder fundraise
Cool.
for all the kids. Um, so just from a culture perspective, they really ingrain in our employees to get involved and stay involved. And on a more personal level, for just me as an individual, I've got involved with the Touchdown Club of Dallas, and what we do is we fundraise for the Rise School. It's a school for children with disabilities, really on that 6 months to 6-7 years age. And it's just been a highlight of my career is
Oh,
is
cool.
is is partnering with those and kind of being in that same area of having kids in that similar ages and giving back to kids with disabilities and also the families and parents of those kids has just been such a passion of mine that we commit to with our time and finances that it's just been really that makes you want to get out of bed in the morning
Yeah.
on some of those organizations.
Yeah, you're making a difference. I think that that's super cool. And so meaningful, right? And like having that
Yeah,
meaningful work. You're helping people every day, but having that meaningful work. Um, let's talk a little bit about so I think that last year we saw it with every single one of our clients. You and
sure.
I together went through it with some of our joint clients. The cost of healthcare is going up. Can
Yep.
you just talk about your strategy of if you've got to go tell a client that they're going to get a 30, 40, 50% increase and how you kind of how do you have those conversations and how do you kind of strategize around those
Yeah.
tough tough
Sure.
situations?
They're not easy,
Right.
because I look at it in twofold. You have generally speaking with a business owner, so this
Right.
is going to affect bottom line,
Mhm.
the financial statement. And the second piece of that is this is going to affect every employee at that company, right?
Right.
A lot of employees are living paycheck to paycheck. So
Right.
a 10, 20, $30 increase per month, like that's taking away food off their table.
Right.
So we recognize that, and two, what we're doing is making sure every stone is unturned. If
Mhm.
it's seeing a massive shift of self funding going down market, because if when you are self funded, you do gain a lot of control back, but you also take on some risk.
Yeah.
So we're seeing a lot of that coming down market.
Okay.
And with that comes a lot of just various strategies.
Yeah.
But as to the reason why they're going up so much, from a macro level, healthcare is just more expensive. You're seeing inflation. You're seeing people are saying the COVID rebound is still occurring. Um, health systems are just charging more on facility costs and prescriptions. The prescription trend is 15%.
Right.
You're seeing a lot of legislation out around healthcare. So I think there's a lot of things moving in the right direction that they weren't years ago. I'm excited to see what AI and what data does to our industry
Yeah,
because it can make a hard industry a little bit easier. But at the same time, we're excited for the future. But it's tough right now.
it is. Can I throw you a couple curveballs?
Please.
Okay, so something that comes up with clients often, and I think that it's important to hear to hear your opinion of this, and I think that it's kind of like debunking
Hmm.
what some business owners think, because it's like the first thing that I hear all the time, especially with new clients, is like, well, we've been with this broker for a long time, and we need a new broker because our renewal is bad. Like, can you just talk about how like the broker has nothing to
Yeah,
do? Like, can you
sure.
just talk about that?
Yeah. Yeah, like we don't set the price.
Right.
As much as we wish we could, because if we could, it would be a lot lower than what they are today. I always
Yeah.
say we work for the clients, for our business owners, for our the employees of those,
Yeah.
but that's who we work for. That's who pays us. Um, I would say our carriers are our partners.
Sure.
We're not, but by any means, we're not setting that price. I would say it's the strategy. It's, if you're what the decisions we make today, they're not, you don't really see the results of that for 1, 2, 3 years down the line.
Right.
It's very challenging to make a decision today other than like a deductible change
Hmm.
to increase pricing.
Yeah.
We can build a multi-year strategy to help implement these to see it down the line.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're not, it hasn't been very much fun conversations the past, call it year and a half,
Yeah.
with a lot of our groups.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's industry agnostic. It's
Hmm.
every single one of our clients. It's the big ones. It's the small ones.
Yep.
It's tough right now. I mean, when I started in HR, we would tell people to budget just like 12 to 15% annually. That the cost is going to go up, right?
Sure.
Because just cost goes up. That number we've been saying is much closer to like 25 to 30%. Just
Hmm.
budget for it. Be ready for it. And even that seems a little low from what we've seen, but
Yep.
I think that it's easy. I call them broker blamers, and I
Yeah.
think it's easy to be a broker blamer. And I think for our audience and like most of the people that watch this podcast are business owners, and it's expensive and it's scary. But I think that it's just to debunk that the brokers are not setting the cost.
No.
You want to maintain the relationship,
Sure.
and the last thing you want to do is like present a 45% increase.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's not fun for us, and I know it's not fun for business owners or employees, but our perspective is we got to, turn over every stone,
Hmm.
to make sure we're presenting our clients all options, for them. If it's fully insured, self-funded, level funded, captives, you name it, we're having those meetings well before the renewal, so
Yeah.
we're not caught in a few months out of not having any options for them.
Yeah, you are so diligent about that too. Like it's, hey, we're 6 months out. We need to start talking about this. And I think
Hmm.
that what a lot of business owners, I think that if you think about it, like let's just say open enrollment is January 1. Okay, well that'll be a 10-1 problem. It's really not. It should be like a 6-1 discussion.
Hmm.
You continue to talk about it. You look at the options. And I think that you guys stay on top of that, which
Yeah,
is helpful because it's no one wants to do it. It's not fun, but it has to get done.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you look at and having business owners that recognize like this is generally health insurance is the second line item on a balance sheet in terms
Hmm.
of cost.
Yep.
Second behind payroll.
Yep.
And when you look at it from a perspective of like, hey, I'm in the insurance business. Like I'm spending millions of dollars on this product for my people.
Yeah.
And when if you can look at it from that lens and work that line item on your balance sheet like you work your business, like you can make a difference.
Yeah.
But it does require time from business owners, from HR departments, COOs, you name it. But it does require a time investment to do that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Awesome. Okay, so quick fire question, just for fun. You have
Sure.
two labs at home.
Yep.
Who's a troublemaker?
Oh, so we've got Daisy, my chocolate lab, and Rosie, our black lab. Daisy's, I always joke, I've had Daisy longer than I know my wife.
Okay.
She's 13.
Okay.
I would say with age, she's become more of my troublemaker.
Okay.
Rosie is without a doubt my wife's dog.
Okay.
And I always say Daisy's my dog, but yeah, Daisy's my troublemaker without a doubt.
What does she do?
Oh, she's just hearing from my wife with the kids that she's She's our vacuum cleaner
Okay.
and resident counter jumper.
Okay. Oh,
So she generally will get to the meals before we and the kids get to the meals.
Okay.
So
fair enough.
age has not slowed her down in terms of jumping.
Go Daisy. That's fun.
Yeah.
And 13, she's jumping on counters.
She is. Yeah.
Good for
She's
her.
still got it.
Okay. Do you hunt with them?
You know, I used to hunt with Daisy, and then her joints went out. But Rosie's not a hunter as much as we want her to be.
Okay.
She doesn't have it.
Okay. Very cool. We had St. Bernards
Yep.
that have since passed, and Luna was probably at her highest, like 150 or 160 pounds. Big dog.
Mm-hmm.
And we moved into this house, and we used to have cameras that would look down, and Luna somehow got herself onto our like island counter.
That's funny.
And she was huge. And so
Yeah.
like getting up is very different than getting down. And so we got to watch. I don't remember how she got down. I mean, she must have gotten down, but I remember watching her, and she would like look, she'd like walk over to the edge of the counter and like look down and be like, that's a really far like jump.
Yep.
And there was like, we had her on camera, but she was just like laying on the counter. And we were just like, oh my gosh, but dogs are the best.
They
so
are.
fun. Keep you busy.
They're like, we love them to death.
Yeah. Amazing. So Ford, we've had the opportunity to work on now several clients as partners together. And I've brought you into some of our clients. You've brought us into some of yours. Like, what benefit do you find in having kind of an HR, like an outsourced HR partner that's
Sure.
been helpful to you?
Yeah. I look at, there's a great article in the Wall Street Journal. And it said HR, they control your two largest line items on a balance sheet, payroll and benefits.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have a really strong HR team in place, it makes your company a lot more efficient in compliance, but also you feel more comfortable. So it also makes our job a lot easier to accomplish of those strategy goals whenever we have, working with someone who really values that HR team.
Yeah.
And when we see people reaching out to Moss, like we can tell, like, hey, they realize that this is something we need help on, and you guys come in, and it's been phenomenal.
Yeah. It's been great working with you guys too. Like, I don't worry about any of our clients that work with you. Cause I know y'all take care of them. You're ahead of the game. Higginbotham is just a great firm altogether. They hire great people. I mean, you've been there. That's been your only, is that your only job out of college?
I have one stint for 6 months, but then I kind of called a half stint.
Okay.
Oh, and then I found Hig.
Okay. And then you found Hig. That's
Yep.
amazing. And Marley's been with you for how?
She's 7 years.
Dang.
Yeah.
Okay. Marley is, I mean, you're a stud, you're a star, you do all the
She
great
makes
work.
me look
But
good.
Marley makes you look good,
Yeah.
Ford. Like, she's so good and she's so easy to work with. Who else is on your team now?
So we have, in Dallas, we have Shawnette, we have Jake, Kristen. We've got, that's just our Dallas team. And then I work with our Fort Worth, Houston teams as well. I mean, we have over 4,000 employees. And one thing great about Hig is it's not just by office. We work where best seems fit.
Yeah.
We have a client in San Antonio, then maybe better to bring in our San Antonio team.
I love it.
So, yeah.
Yeah, Hig's great. A very collaborative team.
It's very much so.
Super great. Awesome. Well, before we wrap up, tell people where they can find you if they need a broker. Like, what's the
Sure.
best way to reach out to you?
Yeah. I have a LinkedIn, Ford Clemons. Also, they can email me at fclemons@higginbotham.net, or just shoot me a LinkedIn message.
Okay. Or we would be happy to introduce you. So that's your Moss HR Minute. If you are a business owner wondering if you have the right benefits, if your team is getting the best care for your investment, or if you just want to talk about other options, give me a shout, schedule 15 minutes with me, and let's see how Moss can help. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.
It's fast, it's fun, it's the Moss Minute.